Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Inshallah, we'll start in about 1 minute. Let us begin in the name of Allah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa 'allimna ma yanfa'una wa zidna 'ilma. Subhanaka Allahumma la 'ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Allahumma arhamna bil Qur'an waj'alil Qur'ana hujjatan lana wa la hujjatan 'alaina amin ya rabbal alamin. Amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, send blessings and salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his entire family, his entire household, and all of his companions. And we ask Allah to bless them all and to bless every single one of us. Amin ya Rabbal Alameen. Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, Arshadakumullah, Hafizakumullah. Today is our 6th session, inshallah. We're going to cover the Ahkamul Lami al Walami al Fi'l, the rules of Lam al and Lam Fi'l, or in some in high level or in summary, it's about Lam Sakinah, about the rules of Lam Sakinah. Previously, we have covered the rules of Nun, Sakinah, and Tanween, and after that, there's Ahkam Nun Shaddah and Meem with Shaddah, and also last time the rules of Meem Sakinah, rules of Meem Sakinah. And the next one, inshallah, today, it's the rules of Lam Sakinah, and specifically Lam Al. The Lam is also called Lam Al or Lam Fi'l. Inshallah, you have know about this, but we're just going to discuss the theory behind the Lam Sakinah. Lam Sakinah. And just quickly, we're just going to quickly read one of the hadith. Inshallah, not going to spend much time. From Aisha, and Aisha radiyallahu anha قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الماهر بالقرآن مع السفرة الكرام البررة والذي يقرأ القرآن ويتتعتع فيه وهو عليه شاق له أجران. So from Aisha radiyallahu anha, may Allah be pleased with her, narrated that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam al-mahir bil-Quran, the one who is mahir, the one who is mahir in the Quran. Mahir means one is who expert, who is proficient, expert in reciting the Quran, like smoothly, precisely, fluently, without issues whatsoever, will be with Safarah al-Kiram al-Barrah in Surah Abasa, if I'm not mistaken. It's the angels who pass the Quran, the righteous scribes. So they will be amongst those angels, the angels who pass the revelations to human. And the second part, وَالَّذِي يَقْرَأُ الْقُرْآنَ وَيَتَتَعْتَدْ, and the one who recites the Quran and having some issues or stumbles over it and struggles, like learning how to recite the Quran, learning tajweed, learning how to recite properly. And so like he struggles, but he recite the Quran, then he or she will have 2 times the reward, mashallah. So yeah, may Allah makes us amongst those who are fluent, who are expert in fluent in reciting the Quran. I mean, and inshallah, today we're going to cover, just quickly review on the Meem Sakinah, and then we'll touch the Alif, the Lam Al and Lam Fi'al. So the Tuhfatul Atfal, we've shared this previously, 50% about non Sakinah, Mim Tanwin, and 50% about Mad. We've covered Ahkamun Nuni Sakinati wa Tanwin, Ahkamun Nuni wal Mimi Mushaddadatain, Ahkamul Mimi Sakinah, Hukmul Lamil al Walamil Fi'l. So that's the part that we're going to discuss today. And inshallah, next will be Mithlain wal Mutaqaribain wal Mutajanisain. In summary, it's about idgham between letters. And after that, we're going to touch the mad. So the last part will be the mad. So we're getting there, inshallah. And maybe just quickly, so that we don't forget the rules, the first part, which is Ahkamun Nuni Sakinati wa Tanwin. The rules of Nun Sakinah and Tanwin. There are how many rules? There are four rules. Yeah. The first one is izhar, which means clear, like to make clear of the Nun Sakinah, the N sound, the Tanwin. There are 6 letters, which is the letters of al-halq, the letters of the throat. And the second is idgham, wa thani idghamun. Second is idgham. 2 idgham بغنة and بغنة and بغير غنة. There are total of 6 letters in يرملون. For بغنة is ينمو, and بغير غنة is لمرة. And the third one, so first فالأول الإظهار والثاني إدغام والثالث الإقلاب. The third one is إقلاب. إقلاب, when we change the noun to meme. And the last one is إخفاء. والرابع الإخفاء. The letters and the mnemonics. صف ذا ثنا كم جد شخص قد سما دم طيبا زد في تقن ضع ظالما. That's the rules of Nun Sakinah and Tanween. And the rules of Mim Sakinah, maybe it's a little bit small. So these we have covered in the previous session, the last session. Just quickly read it. Ahkamul Mimi Sakinah wal Mimu in taskun taji qabla al-hija la alifin layinatin lidhil hija ahkamuha thalathatun liman dabat إخفاء إدغام وإظهار فقط. فالأول الإخفاء عند الباء وسميه الشفوي للقراء والثاني إدغام بمثلها أتى وسمي إدغاما صغيرا يا فتى والثالث الإظهار في الباقية من أحرف وسمها شفوية واحذر لدى واو وفاء تختفي لقربها والاتحاد فاعرفي. So that's the rules of Mim Sakinah. In summary, there are 3 rules. It's even mentioned in the 19th verse, line 19. أحكامها ثلاثة. The rules are 3. فالأول الإخفاء, the first إخفاء. والثاني إدغام, the second is إدغام. The third one is إظهار. وثالث الإظهار. So إخفاء شفوي, إظهار شفوي. And just to review some of the examples of إخفاء, let's read it together, or maybe you can read it after me. The first one, this is إخفاء. ترميهم بحجارة ترميهم بحجارة. So you can say after me next. Still إخفاء. So إخفاء, remember, Meem Sakinah followed by ba. Can recite after me. وما هم بمؤمنين وما
هم
بمؤمنين. Don't forget that you extend the ghunna about 2 counts. So 2 counts like وما هم بمؤمنين وما هم بمؤمنين, about 2 counts. And this one is idgham. Idgham, maybe I'll break it into 2. So you can recite after me. الذي أطعمهم من جوع الذي أطعمهم من جوع وآمنهم من خوف
وآمنهم من خوف.
As you can see, there are 2 idgham here. Meem followed by Meem again. So the first Meem, أطعمهم, what is idgham? Idgham is to merge, to insert. So we insert or merge the first Meem, the sukun Meem, to the second Meem, and it becomes shadda. You can see there's shadda or tashdid, shadda. And the second one is وآمنهم, this Meem followed by Meem again, is idgham. Idgham. Later on, we will learn that this is also called idgham mutamathilain, or idgham mimi, or idgham mimi or idgham mutamathilain. And in terms of the harakat or the sukun, because it's sukun, then followed by harakat, it's also called idgham saghir. Inshallah, we'll learn in the next session. And this one is izhar. Izhar, can recite after me. أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون أم
لم
تنذرهم لا
لا
يؤمنون.
And the last one is Sheikh Sulaiman al-Jamzuri said, be careful when Mim Sakinah followed by waw or followed by fa. واحذر لدى واو وفا. واو وفا. Waw and fa, because they are in the same makhraj, like they're close or in the same makhraj. So because of that closeness or the same makhraj, like you tend to read it like close to ikhfa or close to idgham. So make sure to do idhar. So let's recite it after me. أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون
أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون.
And last one. هم فيها خالدون
هم فيها خالدون.
Okay, so that's a quick recap and little bit of practice on Meem Sakinah. Now, let's go into the next topic, which is the rules of Lam Al and Lam Fi'l. Lam Al and Lam Fi'l. You may, but before we discuss actually what is Lam Al, what is Lam Fi'l, or in summary, it's a Lam Sakinah. If Lam Sakinah, maybe you know it's Lam with sukun. It's Lam with sukun. That's the the summary. But in the big picture, that we're going to discuss lam al, ahkamul lami al, rules of lam al, wa lamil fi'l, and lam fi'l. So lam al, there are two rules, which are idhar and idgham. So lam sakinah, in this case lam al, the first one is idhar, second is idgham, which you may also know in idhar, also called lam qamariyah, the moon, qamariyah moon, or the moon letters, and idgham in lam shamsiyah, idgham shamsiyah, the sun letters. 14 letters of qamariyah and 14 of shamsiyah. And with lam fi'l, by default it's idhar. In short, in Arabic, there are like three types of a word. Word can be a verb. Verb is also called fi'l. Can be a noun. A noun is called ism in Arabic, or can also be harf. But in this case, we only discuss ism or lam al and fi'l. If you want to know a bit about what is fi'l, what is ism, what is harf, you can look around, Google around about Arabic language. Normally in the first, like one of the first session, we'll discuss what are the type of words in Arabic. Now about lam al. So we'll first discuss the ahkamu lami al, the rules of lam al. But what is lam al? So what is lam al? So let's going to discuss that first. So lam al. So we're going to so that we can appreciate this knowledge, I'll say we will need to learn just a little bit about Arabic language. So I'm not going to go too detailed in the Arabic language, just in the context of lam sakinah or lam al. So let's say we have a book. And we would say the book, let's say that is a book. In Arabic, we would say that is a book. We would say in Arabic, ذَلِكَ kitabun. So ذَلِكَ is that, for something that is far from us, not in front of us, like but we want to point that ذَلِكَ, just like in the Al-Baqarah, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, and so on. So ذَلِكَ, that is a book. Kitabun, ذَلِكَ kitabun. So by default, if it's one book, kitabun, there's a un. We've learned about in the second session, like this kind of vowel marks or harakat is called a tanween. So in this case, tanween is dhammatain. So by default, if it's one noun, it's a one book, we say kitabun, or often maybe only called ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ. But actually there's a tanween. Kitabun. However, when we want to say something like that book is new, or the book is new, or in this case, that book is new. So we now have more specific, as opposed to just a book, like a general book, but we would say that specific book, the book is new. So new is jadidun. We would say dhalikal kitabu jadidun. Dhalikal kitabu jadidun. If you notice, when we say one book, kitabun, when we say a specific book, now there's a lam there. So this is the lam that we are talking about, the lam sakinah. When we talk about specific book, there's additional lam, and the kitabu, the tanween, there's no tanween anymore. So So yeah, we don't say dhalika kitabun jadidun, but we say dhalikal. There's a lam now. Dhalikal kitabu jadidun. So notice that to make something, in this case the book, specific, we must add like the in English, but in Arabic we must add lam, lam sakinah. Or you may also come across lam at-ta'rif in Arabic, but it's the same. It's the lam to make something specific. In English would say the book, but here would say um, al-kitabu, dhalikal kitabu, and we remove the tanween. So tanween is there by default, but whenever the lam comes, the tanween will go away. And the same goes when there's a tanween, then the lam never turns up. So like they sadly they never see each other. They always miss one another. So yeah, so yeah, just like sun and the moon, so they cannot be uh, always miss one another. Basically, so sadly they cannot be together in this case. But what we should note that in Arabic, more specifically in the Quran, so when we say a book, kitabun, when we want to say the book, we add the lam, becomes al-kitabu. But so it's a bit hard to say al-kitabu. Al-kitabu is hard. So al-kitabu in Arabic, and like more specifically in the Quran, we cannot start with a sukun. So we cannot say al-kitab, al-kitab. It's hard to say al-kitab, al-kitab, but it's a bit hard. So one of my ustad, he actually have this story that uh, one day, like this al-kitab, it used to be like dhalik al-kitab. It's easy to say dhalik al-kitab, but when the dhalika gone away, al-kitab, it's like lam is like dying. It's hard to pronounce the lam. So like the lam is dying. So then those the letters of hijaya, they gathers and they said, oh, like we need to help the lam. How can we make the lam pronounce? So one letter say, which is the one letter say, oh, I want to help lam. How can I help lam? And that letter is Hamza. So lam, that letter is Hamza. But Hamza, back in the day, like before all, if you see the old manuscripts, actually there's no harakat, there's no fathah, dhamma, and so on, and there's no Hamza. So Hamza actually doesn't have a body. So Hamza is an additional mark. Like the old manuscripts doesn't have Hamza. So back into that, Hamza want to help Lam, but he doesn't have the form. So then Alif, because Alif see that Hamza is so sincere that he wants to help the Lam, then Alif, like he gave his body to Hamza. So that's why it's called Hamza Wasl. So it in the body is like Alif, but it's called Hamza Wasl, like to credit the Hamza. So after all this time, it's actually Hamza, not the Alif. The Alif is the body. So that's just a side story, but that's just that's why there's Hamza Wasl. So Hamza Wasl, it's Hamza that is to connecting Hamza. So this Hamza is there when we connect. So when we say we connect, we don't read dhalika al-kitab, but we read dhalika al-kitab. But if we want to start from that word, we read al-kitab, al-kitab. So that's the function of Hamza wasl. It's an extra Hamza, at the beginning of the word. So hopefully that gives some idea about what is lam al. So lam al is this lam. This kitabun becomes al-kitab. That is the al that we want to discuss. So, so I hope that makes sense. Let's carry on. So we've discussed that the lam al, the lam ta'rif or lam al have two rules. So this is the first. Ahkamu lami al wa lamil fi'l. The rules of lam al and lam fi'l. Lam al and lam fi'l. Lilami al halani qabla ahrufi ulahuma idharuha fal ta'rifi. For lam, there are two conditions. Ula, the first one is idhar. The first one is idhar. The first one is idhar, and the letters are in the next verse. قبل 14 خذ علمه من إبغي حجك وخف أقيمه. So the letters of idhar, the letters of lam idhar is these 14 letters in 4 with 10. Sorry. أربع مع عشرة. أربع is 4. عشرة is 10. So 4 plus 10 is 14. So all of these 14 letters. إبغي حجك وخف أقيمه. Hamza ba sorry, this should be Hamza ba line ha ja ka wa khaf aqimahu. So the 14 letters. In the verse, actually, this has a meaning on its own, like this ibgi hajjaka wa khaf aqimahu, like be desires for your hajjaka wa khaf aqimah. If you want to know the meaning, put it there. But in summary, those are the letters. Inshallah, you already know about this. These are the examples. Al-akhirah, al-bashir, al-ghaib, al-hajj, al-jannah, al-kitab, al-wahid, and so on. So if you notice all of this is normally also covered in Arabic lesson, that this lam, if lam followed by this 14 letters, we would read the lam with idhar. So we must pronounce the lam sakinah. Al-akhirah, al-bashir, al-bashir, al-ghaib, and so on. And the second, inshallah, if you have any questions, can feel free to put on the chat, or if you prefer audio, let me know. So we'll carry on. The second is the next verse. ثانيهما إدغامها في أربع وعشرة أيضا ورمزها فاعي. So the second rule. So the first rule of lam sakinah or lam al is idhar. The second rule is idgham. Second rule is idgham. ثانيهما إدغامها. And same 14 letters. And in this mnemonics, طيب ثم صير من تفوز ضيف ذا نعم دع سوء ظن زر شريفا للكرام. So these are the mnemonics of the letters lam sakinah for idgham or shamsi. If you don't know about what is mnemonics, we've discussed this in ikhfa. So these are the examples. For example, in the solar systems, let's say you want to memorize the solar system. My very excellent mother just serve us noodles, or in this case nachos. So the first character, it becomes like Mercury, Venus, and so on. So uh, same in this one, the first letter ta, tha, swad, ra, and so on are the letters, and these are the examples: الطاغوت، الثمرات، الصالحات، الرحيم، التقوى، الضلالة, and so on. So if you notice, it's idgham. What is idgham? Idgham is insert or to merge. We insert or we merge the lam to the second letter, to follow the following letter, which is like this, the ta. So we insert lam to ta, and we like skip the ta. Sorry, we skip the lam. Al-taghut, not al-taghut, al-taghut, not al-thamarat, al-thamarat, and so on. Okay, so that's idgham samples, and the the verse after that, it mentioned about the name of idhar and idgham. It's also called qamariyah and shamsiyah. ولا ملول سمها قمرية ولا ملخر سمها شمسية. The lam, walam, the lam ula, the first lam, sammiha, name it, qamariyah, and the second, name it, shamsiyah. Yeah. So the summary is that for lam al, we know is lam al is the lam in whenever we want to make an ism or a noun become a specific, like kitabun, you want to change, make it specific, al kitabu, and that al, that lam, it can be idhar or it can be idgham, depending on which letters. Is it the letters of qamariyah, or the letters of the moon, or the letters of shamsiyah, the letters of sun? Just remember, if we say al-qamar, al-qamariyah, al-qamar, we read the lam. But if we read ash-shams, we don't read al-shams. Ash-shams, that's the shamsiyah. Idhar is lam qamariyah, and idgham lam shamsiyah. Inshallah, this will be easy for you, because inshallah, you've come across this previously, but this is just to make it, what's the theory behind it, and what Sheikh Sulaiman al-Jamzuri said. However, after this, that's the lam al, the lam for al, lam ta'rif. The second part, or the last verse of lam, ahkamul lam, wa adhiranna lama fi'lin mutlaqa fi nahwi qulna am wa qulna wal taqwa, and perform idhar in lam fi'l. So what is lam fi'l? Just to give you some idea, if you probably know this, we've saw this word previously, if in the previous slides. This is taqwa. So if we want to add waw, wa, and taqwa, we would read what taqwa. So taqwa, we add the lam, at taqwa. We don't read al taqwa. However, in the second example, this is taqo. This is taqo, and the word is, if we read this, we don't read wattaqu, because it's a verb. Waltaqu. So waltaqu, we don't read wattaqu because the lam itself, it's not an additional lam like in kitab, like the previous example. Kitab, we add the lam, al-kitab or al-kitab. That's an additional lam. But in this case, it's not additional lam. The lam is it's part of the word itself. So that's why it's read wal taqu. And here, Sheikh Sulaiman al-Jamzuri said, do idhar, like in this example, qul na'am, it's not qul na'am, qul na'am, wa qulna wal taqu, wal taqu. So that's actually just to understand, to appreciate what's under the hood, like before there's a vowel marks. Maybe you need to think, is this a fi'l or is this an ism? But in this day and age, because we read everything with harakat, with all the marks, inshallah you don't really notice, and you just read based on the on the marks. Like in this, there's no sukun or sakinah on the lam. You would naturally you would skip lam, and in this case on the left side, on the left side there's a sukun on lam, and you would naturally read wal taqu. So inshallah these days it won't be it's inshallah will be easy for you. Like you don't really need to understand, is this a verb or is this an ism? But this is to appreciate what the ulama have been doing, like before their marks. That's how you would um, like you need to analyze first, and like you need to understand the word. So inshallah that's pretty much the lam sakina. I forgot to add the animation, but in summary, ahkamu lami al wa lami al fi'l, ahkamu lami al wa lami al fi'l, the rules of lam al and lam fi'l. In lam al there are two, idhar and idgham. Idhar, it also the name is wasamiha qamriya, lam qamariya, and idgham also called lam shamsiya. And those are the 14 letters of each. Idhar and idgham, min ibgi hajjaka wa khaf aqimahu طب ثم الصير من تفوز ضيف ذانئا دع سوء ظن زر شريفا للكرام. And for lam fi'l, do idhar, such as in qulna am qulna wal taqu. So that's pretty much what we want to cover in terms of lam sakina and lam al and lam fi'l. If you have any questions, can put in the chat or let me know. And if you need to think, you want to prepare your questions, yeah, feel free to put it on the chat. While waiting, there was a question from a sister about stopping, when to stop and where to start reading. It's about waqf. So about waqf. So inshallah we'll cover that just a little bit. In summary, actually waqf and ibtida, it's not really part of tajweed. Like it's a science on itself. So there's a lot of books or course just discussing about waqf, about how to stop, how to start when to start reciting and where to stop. But we're just going to cover a summary. And before we discuss the waqf signs or the symbols of stopping itself, we're going to just touch a bit around tartil. So you might heard about tartil, tahsin, tajweed, tartil. So just to, if you remember from the first session, tajweed is like to make it something good, like tahsin, same. That's why a tahsin course, if we go to a tahsin course, we would normally recite the Quran or some words of Quran, and then the sheikh, the teachers will provide some feedback if the letters that we pronounce is correct or not. And tajweed, if you still remember from the first um, uh, session, we covered the definition of tajweed. تجويد إخراج كل حرف مع إبطائه إخراج كل حرف to bring out إخراج كل حرف من مخرجه to bring out every letters to bring out every letters from its makhraj, from the exit points, from the articulation points, and to give the permanent attributes, the characteristics, and the temporary attributes or characteristics. That's tajweed, and that's why in tajweed course, like in a big tajweed course, you would discuss makhraj, where the exit points of each letters, and what are the attributes, what are the characteristics of each letters. That's tajweed. Now, how about tartil? So tartil, like in Surah Al-Muzammil, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, and recite the Quran slowly with tartil, or actually tartil the Quran with the most tartil way. But what is tartil itself? So tartil, according to uh, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh, may Allah be pleased with him, الترتيل هو تجويد الحروف ومعرفة الوقوف. Tartil is reciting the letter with tajweed, and we know tajweed is to 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 bring out the letters from the correct makhraj exit points with the attributes. That's tajweed. So tartil is reciting the letters with tajweed and observing and with the rules of waqf, the rules of stopping, pausing and stopping. So technically, if you know tajweed, you know how to recite the Quran with tajweed, but you don't know where to start, where to stop. It's like you're 50% tartil. So if you want to become 100% tartil, that means you need to know tajweed plus know where to start, when to pause, when to start, understand the waqf. Waqf or stop is it's you can imagine it's like this picture. It's like uh, what do you call this, brother? Uh, Traffic lights. Yeah, traffic lights. Just like traffic lights. You know, uh, green, that means you need to go. Red, you need to stop. And yellow, it's between, it depends. Sometimes you can choose whether you go or stop, or maybe sometimes better to go, or sometimes better to stop. Yeah, that's the yellow lights. And these are the samples of the waqf or stopping signs. And so in terms of stopping signs, first, the red one. So when to stop? Stop is when you meet the Meem waqf sign. That means it's also called lazim, waqf lazim. We're not going to discuss that, the details, but just in summary, Meem, you must stop. Why you must stop? Actually, it's better to stop. You must stop so that you don't change the meaning of the verse itself. If you don't stop, there is a potential that you might change the meaning of that verse. And for this sign, it's you must choose. You stop either. You can choose on the three dots, the first one or the second one. So that's like the red light. The green light is on lam alif. So if you meet lam alif, then you don't stop. So keep on reciting, because there's a potential that the potential, if you keep on reading, you may change you may change the meaning of that verse, of that sentence. And other than that, basically it's like a yellow light. Sometimes it's better to stop. Sometimes you can, like on this jaiz, it's it's up to you. You can stop or continue. This one is better to continue. Asal. And for the Indo-Pak Mushaf, like in the Urdu or in Maghribi, in Turkish Mushaf, there are more uh, Waqf signs. So in Mushaf Madinah, you would only see the top one, the Lam, Sad, Ja, Qaf, Mim, and this one. But in Urdu and Turkish Mushaf, you would see more than that. But if you don't remember everything, just remember the red and green, basically. Lam, that means you don't stop. Mim, or the three, you must stop either. Anything that anything other than that, sorry. Anything other than that, you consider it as a yellow. So like this one, it's better to stop, but if you continue, that's still okay. So if you don't remember, then it's up to you, or you can stop. Normally, for if you're still, if you are new with reciting, or if you have a short breath, I would say you can maybe just stop on all of these signs and just remember the meme and the lam alif. That's the like the general rule of thumb. So as I mentioned, the waqaf is related to the meaning, because if you recite or read the Quran, if you notice that there's no signs, like there's no comma, there's no like function, there's no dot, or there's no, I mean, where to stop in terms of, if we just read the Arabic, there's no like question mark, or there's no like quote, like sometimes there's a sentence, there's actually like uh, maybe the sentence of the saying of a kafir, or a mu'min, or I'll give you some examples, but we don't know where to stop or where to start, unless there are signs, and these waqf signs, stopping signs, are there to help us, like to help us where to stop, where to start again, when can we stop, when we should keep continuing reciting, like the lam alif. And you would also notice that different mushaf have a different stopping signs. Like sometimes in one verse, in other mushaf, maybe you would find a meme or lam alif, but in other mushaf, the waqf signs is different. Just follow what you're reading in front of you, and don't mix each other, because each mushaf have a like have ijtihad, they have a way to like to maintain the meaning. So in this example, it's, if you can, if you have a long uh, ayah, and you don't know like where to start, where to stop, it's better that you have a mushaf that have a word by word translation. So that way you can read each of the meaning, each of the meaning. Then you can think, oh, maybe this is a good. We can stop at this. So here's an example. There's a meme. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. لقد كفر الذين قالوا إن الله ثالث ثلاثة. So if you see this, لقد كفر. So لَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ. So those believers, like those disbelievers, كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا, who says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَةٍ. So the kafara, they say, إِنَّ اللَّهَ ثَالِثُ ثَلَاثَةٍ. They say God is ثَالِثُ, one third, or the one third of the three. And there's a meme here, so it's better to stop there, because that's the, like, the complete. If you see the, maybe it's, sorry, it's a bit grayed out here, but here say, certainly disbelief, who say Allah is the third of the three, and that's the end of the quote. But here there's no quote, like we don't know where, if we don't know, we don't understand the meaning, like we don't really know where to stop, and that's why it's uh, it's recommended to stop here, because the next part, it's it's not the kafar saying وَمَا مِنْ إِلَهٍ إِلَّا إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ, and there's no God except one. So as you can see that this sentence is separated from inna Allaha thalithu thalatha. If we don't stop, what if we don't stop? If we don't start inna Allaha thalithu thalathati wa ma and so on, it's, when we read that way, is as if they are one whole sentence. And that's why in the Waqf sign, it's recommended to stop there. And same, even if there's no Waqf signs, it's better to continue, because if you don't know the meaning, for example, we recite wama min ilah, it would mean there's no God. If you stop there, that means there's no God, and that's why you need to keep on going, so that it would mean there's no God except the one God. So I hope that gives you some idea about waqaf, about the waqaf signs. In summary, it's better for you to understand the meaning if you want to make it right, but at least know this summary of the waqf sign. If possible, know the meaning, use the word by word translation. And because if we think about it, that's actually, if you think about what is the main purpose of the Quran. So this is from Surah Sad. I'll just quickly read the meaning. That this is the blessed book that we've sent down to you for people to think, like to tadabbur. Kitabun anzalnahu ilayka mubarakul liyadabbaru, to do tadabbur. So Allah have sent this book so people will ponder, think about the message, who think about the message, and for those with understanding intellectual to accept the advice. So the Quran, like the main purpose, is not just like a book just for reading, for reciting, or just purely for the memorizing, but it's there so we can think about the message, and if we, because we're learning tajweed here, if you notice, when we recite the Quran, if we recite with tajweed, what will happen? So if we recite the Quran with tajweed, it actually slow us down. So when we recite the Quran, it will slow us down, and that with the slowness, with tartil, we will have a time to think, to ponder, to reflect about the message, the meaning, and so that we have understanding, so that we understand. And after, if we read with tajweed slowly, then that means the Quran is giving a chance to ourselves to stop, to slow down, to think about the meaning, to understand it, and inshallah, the next logical path will be like to memorize it. So inshallah, after you can do more tadabbur, you understand it. It's easier to memorize. You know, in a general reading 101, if you read any books and if you learn about reading, one of the tips to get better in memory, like to memorize one book, maybe just random book. Um, if you want to memorize, one of the tip is to reflect upon the book, like literally like to do a tadabbur on the book, and which is why some of the great companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they spent years to like to learn the Quran as opposed to just memorize them. Sure. So yeah, so basically after you, that's the. I hope that now you can see the like the big picture, how every component reciting the Quran, tajweed, and understand the Quran and memorizing the Quran is actually like the everything works hand in hand. So you cannot just do one, but it's everything is works hand in hand. So that's pretty much I want to cover about the waqaf, the waqaf. Yeah, I hope that answers one question from the sister. I did. I understand I didn't cover the complete uh, about waqaf science, but that's the general idea. If you don't remember the exact signs, just remember that at least the red one, Meem and La. Other than that, you can choose. You can choose whether stop or go. Yes, there are some like this one. It's better to stop, but still, if you continue, that will be fine. Or same this one. It's better to continue, but if you stop, the meaning normally is still fine. Uh, once you get used to reciting, you will, and if you, once you know the Arabic language word by word, you may have the feel where to stop, where to start your recitation. So that's pretty much what we want to cover for today. Uh, the lam sakina or lam al lam fi'l. Let me just before we close, just to recap that again. There are two. In lam al, there izhar qamariya, idgham shamsiya. Izhar in lam fi'l is izhar, and in terms of waqaf signs, just remember mainly those two, and the other you can treat as a yellow stopping yellow lights. And waqaf ibtida is, as I said, it's a science on its own. It's a science on its own. It's and to know better, you need to learn the Arabic, and the Quran word by word translation is helpful for you to understand where to stop, where to start. Inshallah, that's what we are going to cover today. Maybe if there's any further questions. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. I'll wait for about 1 minute. If you have any further questions about this topic or previous topic or anything maybe about tajweed, like this one, there was a question about waqaf, then we try to answer in the, if it needs a long explanation, then we'll going to try to cover it in the like in the next session. Oh, nggak ada.
Ustadz Bayu, can I ask one question?
Yes.
Yeah, as you know that the harokat or sukun is help us to read. There is no harokat or there is no sukun or tanwin or how to read, how to easy for us to learn or to read easily if there is
Sorry.
no.
Could you repeat the question again, brother?
Yeah, especially for the that the for lam fi'il.
Lam fi'al, yeah.
Yeah, if there is no sign or harokat or so how to read if there is no, because you know that the harokat is help us to read, but let's see if there is no helping,
Yeah.
no sign.
Yeah. Jazakallah khair. Good question. So yeah, what if, Alhamdulillah, these days we have those signs, there's those sukun signs, so we know whether we should pronounce the lam izhar like al-qamar, or we skip the lam like do idgham ash-shams. But back in the day, how do they, how do the Arab uh, does that? So based on explanation from my sheikh, um, for the Arab people, like they know this is what this word means. So that's why, hence I show you the word by word translation. It gives you some context. Is this a verb or is this a noun? And if you, let me show you here. Uh, if you go to, I show you the apps here. So there are some apps in Android or in Apple, word by word. Plus, it will show you whether it's a verb or it's an ism. And if you want to get some idea, here's the Corpus Quran. It's a, if you go here and you can see that this one ba is harf, and some is a noun. And if you maybe let's just, find that, well, like this one, Yawmal Taqwa 3155. So we go 3155. This one, uh, it's a verb. So because it's a verb, then it's a fi'l. Then you would read the lam. So like if you memorize in, like if you have a lot of, what do you call it? If you know the word, then you would know whether that's a fi'l, that's a ism or harf. And to know that, you need to learn the language. You need to learn the Arabic. So that's why if we don't know Arabic language, then it's a bit hard for us to read because we don't understand the language. And that's why we need to learn the actual language if there's no signs, no harakat. And that's why the ulama, if you read some history about the tashkil or the vowel marks, it's actually to help the non-Arabic, even some Arabic maybe also need uh, help on that. But based on my limited knowledge, the harakat is to help, even tajweed and harakat is to help the non-Arabic speakers so that can recite the Quran correctly. And it's like tajweed, everything is one way to preserve the Quran. But if you remember, the Quran is passed orally. So like all of the scripts, tajweed, all of the theoretical, it's there to support the oral, to support the oral. Just like if we want to teach our children, let's say they cannot read, but we can still teach them Surah Al-Fatiha, let's say. with oral, through oral, and that's how Al-Quran is passed, is through oral, and all of this is to just to help us to support the oral. I hope that makes sense, brother.
Okay, thank you, Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair. And all of the links, it's on the slide. I think on the slides. If not, you can ask in the group. Inshallah. And inshallah I'll post the links to the app of the Quran, a word by word translation. If there's no further question, maybe I'll wait for 1 minute. While waiting, if you want to prepare your question, writing, or you can ask me. Yeah, feel free to take your time. It's 1 minute. And this is just to give you some idea about the plan, what I'm planning in terms of sessions. We've done that one, Lam Shamsiyah Qamariyah. The next one, inshallah, will be Mithlain Mutaqaribain, Mutajanisain. In summary, it's about idgham of different letters, of different or same letters, idgham between letters. That will be covered here next week. And after that, the types of mad. And after that, inshallah, we'll take a break until January. I hope this time works for everyone. If we stop at 13th of December, because I know some of the boys here, brothers, they go to a camp on, I think, around 19 December or around that week. And that's why we will decide to take a break there and continue on January 17th of January. I hope that's not too early for you, but let me know if you have any feedback about session timing. Let me know. Let us know. You can send us an email or message us on the WhatsApp group or the Telegram group or on the form. Inshallah. If there's no question, okay, I'll just check if there's a question in the chat. No. Okay, inshallah. Just to this hadith again from Aisha, just to remind us about reciting the Quran from Aisha. May Allah be pleased with her. Al-Mahiru bil Quran, the one who is mahir in the Quran, who is proficient, who is expert in reciting the Quran, they will be with the noble or righteous scribes, as in with the angels, al-kiram al-barara, and who recites with some struggles, they will have two rewards, because like the struggle itself, it's an act of worship, and reciting also have a reward. But it doesn't mean that one who has struggles will have more rewards to the one who are proficient. According to my teachers, of course, it will be more reward for the people who are fluent, who are proficient in reciting the Quran, hence mentioned in the first part, al-mahiru bil Quran. Allahu a'lam. May Allah makes us among the fluent in reciting the Quran. Amen. And I hope this session and through this learning tajweed, this would like motivates us more to learn the Quran, to recite the Quran, to understand the Quran, and brings us closer to Allah. And may Allah accept our efforts today as the good deeds, that would help us to enter the Jannah. And anything which I've said was wrong, or incorrect was from shaitan, and Allah and his messengers are free from it. Wallahu a'lam bis-shawab. And let's close with the dua kafaratul majlis.
Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Jazakumullah khair.